Hi, it's Billy Dunlap with GoLaurens.com and GoClennon.com. Welcome to Week 8 of the Laurens County Football Show, coming to you from the front of Bailey Memorial Stadium, where on Saturday at noon, the Presbyterian College Blue Hose will host Charleston Southern in a Big South Conference opener. Now let's talk about the Blue Hose. Like I said, noon on Saturday will be kickoff here against Charleston Southern. This is game 6 of a 7-game homestand for the Blue Hose. PC comes in 3-3 overall. They defeated St. Francis 26-14 last week. Charleston Southern comes in, they're 2-3. They lost to Indiana 27-0 last week. Now, like I said, this is the Big South opener for both teams. The Blue Hose, if you haven't had a chance to come out and see them, got a big-time running back, freshman Torrance Marable. He leads the Big South Conference in rushing. He is a true freshman. He ranks 8th in the nation in rushing in FCS football, and he is the top freshman running back in the country. So if you've not had a chance to come out and see the Blue Hose, Saturday noon right here at Bailey Memorial Stadium against Charleston Southern. Now let's move on to Laurens Academy. They're at Richard Wynn Academy on Friday night at 7:30. The Crusaders come in, they're 1-5 overall. They lost to Jefferson Davis Academy last week, 48-6. Joshua Moore had 7 catches for 161 yards. He also had 9 tackles on defense. Will Tyndall had a rushing touchdown for the Crusaders. He also had 5 tackles and a fumble recovery. Now, Richard Wynn, very strong team. They come in 5-1 overall. They defeated Calhoun Academy last week, 41-14. Their only loss was in week 1 to the number 1 ranked team in the state, Wardlaw Academy. So a tough task for the Crusaders on Friday night at Richard Wynn Academy, 7:30. Now let's move on to Riverside at Laurens, Friday night, 7:30 at Casey Hanna Stadium. It's senior night for the Raiders, last home game of the season. Laurens comes in 2-5 overall. They're 1-1 in region play. They defeated Wade Hampton 32-16 last week for homecoming. Now, injuries have affected the Raiders, especially over the last couple of weeks. Corrado Ray got his first start at running back for the Raiders. He made good on it. 204 yards on 25 carries for an 8.2 yard average per carry. Now, Ray also had a 90-yard kickoff return. He didn't get it all the way to the end zone, but he got it down close. The Raiders weren't able to punch it in, but Corrado Ray had a big week last week. He was our player of the week. Now, Troy Dendy, still nursing an ankle injury. He got 11 carries last week for 73 yards. One of the big players for Laurens, one who I think kind of sets the tone for the team, is Will Tinsley. He's a junior, he's a wide receiver, but he also returns punts. He's a tough kid. He likes to hit people. Had a couple of nice moves on Friday night. Tinsley caught 2 passes for 29 yards. He also returned 3 punts for 36 yards, but I really like the way Will Tinsley plays football. Now, on defense, Raheem Franklin had 9 tackles. He also had an interception. Braylon Williams had 10 tackles. He had 2 tackles for loss. Trevor Madden continues to be strong in the defensive backfield. He also had a pick on Friday night. Now, injuries, like I said, they're still affecting the Raiders. Dwayne Martin, Devontae Grant still out. It looks like Jayon Babb may be back this Friday on the defensive line, and it looks like Troy Dendy will be close to 100% on Friday night. So, Riverside, they come in 1-6 overall. They lost to Hillcrest 42-0 last week. Their only win was in week 0. They defeated Travelers Rest. So a tough stretch here for Riverside. They've lost 6 straight. Their losses are to Eastside, Blue Ridge, Christchurch, Hillcrest, J.L. Mann, and Malden. Now, Laurens beat Riverside 35-9 last year in Greer. Riverside, the Warriors, are led by quarterback Andrew Brown. So, senior night on Friday night, 7:30 at Casey Hanna Stadium, a chance for the Raiders to pick up another key region victory as we go down the stretch. Now, let's move over to Newberry coming to Clennon on Friday night. Clennon comes in 3-4 overall, 1-1 in region play. They slipped past Mid Carolina 28-26 last week. Running game for the Red Devils continues to be strong. Chris Holmes, 136 yards last week, 4 touchdowns. Mark Wise had 54 yards on 16 carries. The Red Devil defense allowed 271 yards to a tough Mid-Carolina team. They haven't won in a long time, but Mid-Carolina is a tougher football team than what their record reflects. Time of possession in that game, the Red Devils had the ball for almost 33 minutes of clock compared to just 15 minutes for Mid-Carolina, but they couldn't pull away. Mid-Carolina led at the end of the third quarter and had a chance to tie the game with a 2-point conversion at the end of the ball game. Jishawn Payne had a big play to make that stop. So the Red Devils are coming into a tough 3-game stretch to end the season. Newberry this week, Broome, then Woodruff. So key games for the Red Devils as they battle to get into the 3A playoffs. Now Newberry comes in, they're 7-0 overall. They're the number 3 ranked team in 3A. They defeated Broome 49-21 last week. They defeated Clinton last year 31-20. Newberry has wins over Keenan, 96, Batesburg, Leesville, Chapin, Fairfield Central, Woodruff, and Broome. They've got a Shrine Bowler on their team, offensive lineman Alec Blackman. They've also got 3 big-time weapons on offense. Quarterback Tyreek Goodman, last week 7 for 10, 179 yards and 2 touchdowns. Running back Amir Abrams, he had 221 yards rushing last week against Broome, 5 touchdowns. He also went over the 5,000 yard mark for his career. He now has 5,184 career yards rushing for the Newberry Bulldogs. Now wide receiver Jaleel Gilliam, he had 4 catches for 121 yards and 2 touchdowns. So the Red Devils have their work cut out for them against the Bulldogs this week. It's a key game for the Red Devils trying to secure playoff space. We got some great games this week. That's going to do it for week 8 of the Lawrence County Football Show. We've got 4 big games in the county this week. We're looking for 4 W's from our 4 local teams, and we'll look forward to seeing you at the game.